Think about the last time you saw a traffic stop, or maybe heard a story from a friend about getting a passport verified. Well, for millions of people in India, these totally normal interactions, they come with an unwritten price tag. Today, we're not just talking about police corruption in general. No, we're going way deeper. We're going to dissect a hidden, unofficial tax system that's running parallel to the one we all know. Let's dig in and see how this whole thing actually works.
Wow, that question really cuts through the noise, doesn't it? It just forces you to see those small, frustrating bribes in a whole new light. See, this isn't about one officer asking for a little extra cash. It's suggesting something much bigger, that law and order itself has basically been turned into a business, a franchise even, one where the very people who are supposed to protect you are the ones charging a fee for that protection. So, to really wrap our heads around this, we need to look at it through a pretty specific lens. The source material for this explainer calls it something really powerful, a parallel tax system. And what's so critical about this definition is that it shifts the blame away from just a few bad apples and puts it squarely on a broken system. We're talking about an organized structure where you're forced to pay for things that are supposed to be your right, like, say, filing a police report. It's basically a tax on daily life. But here's the huge difference. It's totally illegal, there's zero accountability, and that money, it goes straight into private pockets. And listen, this isn't something that just happens once in a while. National studies actually confirm that a huge number of families who have any dealings with the police end up paying bribes. It's almost like justice is a vending machine. You put your money in and you just hope you get what you need. And that normalizes this really dangerous idea that your safety and your rights, they aren't guaranteed. They're just commodities up for sale. Okay, so if it's a system, how does it actually work? On a day-to-day basis? What are the actual mechanics of this racket that so many people run into? Well, this system preys on people in a few key ways. First, you've got bribes tied to legal cases. You might have to pay just to get a report filed, or even worse, pay to avoid being framed for something you didn't do. Then there's the constant checkpoint extortion. That setting money that truckers have to pay to pass. Guess what? That cost gets passed on to you and me in the price of our food and goods. And finally, you have the verification rackets, where a simple, free signature on a document suddenly has a price tag attached. Now, a racket this widespread, it just can't survive on its own. It needs protection to really thrive. So the question is, who's propping this whole thing up, and why is it so incredibly entrenched? Right. The system isn't just self-sustaining, it's actively protected from the top down. It's really built on political patronage. You see, money flows upwards, and in return, protection flows downwards. Officers who are, let's say, good at collecting these taxes, or who do favors for powerful people, they aren't just tolerated, they're often shielded from any real consequences. And this creates this completely perverse, twisted incentive structure. Think about it. An honest officer who refuses to play the game? Well, they often find themselves sidelined, shipped off to some punishment post where they can't make waves. But the officers who excel at extortion? Oh, they get rewarded with the most lucrative postings. The system doesn't just tolerate corruption, it actually selects for it and promotes it. It's so easy to just feel resigned to all this, to think, well, this is just how things are. But the source material here suggests a totally different path, one that moves us away from passive acceptance and towards active, evidence-based action. So how do you fight a shadow system? You drag it into the light with data. Cold, hard facts. The strategy is all about gathering irrefutable evidence. This means doing confidential surveys to capture what people are really going through. It means systematic studies, observing transport routes to actually document the flow of money. It requires using powerful tools like right to information or RTI applications to demand the official data. And maybe most important of all, it means empowering victims to safely document every single detail. Every piece of data is another crack in the foundation of this corrupt system. And all of this brings us back to the most critical question of all. See, this isn't just about police misconduct. This is about governance itself. By calling this an unauthorized tax, we're forced to ask a much bigger question. Who gave anyone the authority to levy this tax on us in the first place? And maybe more importantly, why do we as a society continue to tolerate it? That's the thought I'll leave you with.